Devastating news for Liverpool and Alexander Isak. The striker is set for a number of weeks, if not months, on the sidelines. David Ornstein confirming here that Alexander Isak is set for a period on the sidelines with a suspected leg break from the challenge in Liverpool's win at Spurs. Liverpool yet to comment on the severity, but scans poised to confirm fears of a fracture to the left side. Recovery time typically a few months. And look, hugely devastating for the player, for Liverpool. A fantastic goal that he scored, capitalising upon a mistake from Tottenham. A brilliant pass from Wirtz. And it was Isak at his best. Something that has been very few and far between so far at Liverpool as he's been finding his feet. The reaction, I think, from some people has been hideous to this, and we're going to speak about it on the show. I also want to touch on football has got to do something to protect players when taking shots on goal, and I'll make that make sense later in the content. I know it isn't positive news in any way, shape or form, but please like, share the video content, because obviously we want to get as many people's opinions on this as possible. And of course, if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the channel. But first and foremost, just commiserations to the player. Just as he's finding his feet, having his best performance, scoring a brilliant goal, and there's this horrible, painful irony that the injury comes as he's scoring that goal as well. I mean, you couldn't write it, you couldn't make it up. Absolutely crazy on every single level. Now, obviously, it's not a leg break where a bone sticking out the side of his leg, where you're going to lose the player for a year or so. It sounds like it's going to be a hairline fracture of some sort, because the ankle hasn't dislocated at the same time. Unlikely that there's major ligament or tendon damage at the same time, so the recovery time is a lot shorter. So a lot of people are seeing the word leg break and saying, well, how can that only be a few months? There are different types of leg breaks, whether it's the bone shattering completely, whether there is dislocations at the same time, whether tendons, ligaments, cartilages, etc. get damaged in the process as well. And that will be what the scans are to confirm as well, to make sure there's no further damage, because sometimes the Achilles tendon snapping in that process at the same time can make it worse than you can actually have a bigger break, but it's less of an injury than, say, the tendon snapping. So there are some areas like that to confirm, but it's devastating news indeed. And the first point of call for me, and I've spoken about this for many years, and it's a conversation that always falls upon deaf ears, but I feel that it's something that football fans should talk about. I think the media should be talking about it. And it's these types of challenges that come in when a player's making a shot. And it's one of these kind of weird, backwards, unwritten rules. That if a player's taking a shot, as long as the shot is not impeded, it almost doesn't matter about the contact from the follow-through of a challenge. It doesn't matter how hard a goalkeeper sliding out or a defender trying to make a block. It doesn't matter how badly they clatter into an opponent. It's not a foul. I've never understood it, because if that was a pass or a cross or a shot from distance and the exact same thing happens, it's a foul. If Van der Ven makes that tackle outside the box as Wirtz or Isak is making a pass to a teammate, takes him out and fractures or breaks the leg, you're going to get a red card for excessive force. You're going to get a red card for endangering an opponent. I mean, how can we say you're not endangering an opponent when they've ended up with a severe injury? This isn't a dig at Van der Ven directly or Tottenham directly. I've been talking about this for many a year. And it all goes back for me to a game probably 14, 15 years ago now. And Man United were playing at home against Chelsea, and Javier Hernandez had a shot that just went wide, and Ashley Cole put in a lunging attempt to block the ball, and his studs hit the middle of the shin of Javier Hernandez, could have broken his leg, did hurt him, and the player had to go off. And referee waved it away, and after the game, they spoke about it, and it was just said, sort of, the shot, there was no disadvantage to the player because the shot happened. And it still doesn't make sense to me, because if you complete a pass in the middle of the park and get caught in exactly the same way, it doesn't matter that your pass completed, it's a foul. And if it's studs up, middle of the shin, if it breaks a leg, if it takes a player out completely, yellow cards, and more so in the modern day game, red cards ensue. This needs to be looked at. I know defenders want to get those blocks in. I know goalkeepers want to rush out and stop a striker from scoring. But if we've put rules in place, laws in place, that stop the endangerment of a opponent, okay, you can't lunge anymore, you can't go 2-footed, you can't dive in from behind because it's dangerous. Why are we still allowing these tackles when a shot's happening? Should they not be punished in the same way? Should we not be trying to protect players? I'm asking because they put the other rules in place to protect players, but not in this particular instance. I find it strange. Aside from that as well, I mean, look, you're always going to get these individuals, but the amount of people I've seen tweeting, laughing, talking about how this is karma, how this is like warranted, and ha ha ha, it's so great that it's happened. I mean, just vile on every single level. Vile on every single level. And it doesn't matter the scenario of how Alexander Isak became a Liverpool player. It doesn't matter your personal feelings towards him. One, stop being such nasty fuckers. Point blank. Two, why would you tempt fate? Why would you put this out into the universe? And maybe, I mean, again, if you're someone that believes in karma, why would you put this type of message out there? Because if you sort of believe in it, even half believe in it, are you not tempting fate with your own club? And three, I'm not someone that wants to censor social media. That's not what's going through my mind right now. But I do have this sort of feeling of, why is this acceptable? To mock. It's not a joke. Like, I kind of get Dave Chappelle on stage telling a joke. I kind of get Jimmy Carr telling a joke. They're comedians. You go to watch comedians because you know they're going to say offensive things, but you also know the context that it's a joke. And no one can convince me that these types of tweets are people telling jokes. These are people celebrating the injury of another human being. And maybe I'm getting woke in my old age, I don't know. But I find this type of thing reprehensible on every single level. I'll end by saying this. Like, as a United fan, you know, I shouldn't have to say this, but I want to give some context to anyone new to the channel. As a United fan, I'll never celebrate the injury to any player. One, because I think it's hideous. Two, I would never want to tempt fate. And, you know, I just believe in that type of thing, and maybe it ends up happening to one of my players. And I think more importantly, just do better. Forget that you're a fan of this club or that club or the other club and you're representing them. You're not. You're representing yourself. Why would you want to be like that? Maybe it's an attention thing. Maybe they've got what they want. Maybe me reacting to it is also wrong because it gives them the infamy maybe they want. And that's a fair cop. And that's a fair challenge. But look, Alexander Isak, wishing you a speedy, safe and full recovery back to the game. If you've tuned in, can't wait to read your comments back. Please like and share, because I'd like to get as many opinions on this as possible, please. But take care, goodbye, God bless, and I'll see you all soon. Thank you.